What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripes Show. Everyone should be having a great Monday because they swept the Houston Astros 4 games in Houston. When's the last time Houston won a game at home? It's been like some crazy time because they lost all their playoff games at home. I feel like Michael Kay or Girardi mentioned this on the broadcast late yesterday, that it's crazy. The Astros can't win at home. It's unbelievable.
It's when I woke up and Ilya put a post in our chat that mentioned, I know that's been floating around Twitter, and but the season series now with the Houston Astros is swayed to the Yankees. That's it. Like
because they play
there's no more
games. They must
so if it does come down to a wild card and the Astros are there, the Yankees have the tiebreaker, and I think that's one, hilarious to happen by the first weekend of the season, and two, it's significant. Like that absolutely could be significant. Looking at the end of the year.
Do we want the Astros to be playing on the road, because it seems like they win on the road and they can't win at home?
Either way, if it comes down to the Yankees and the Astros in a wild card scenario, and one is in and one is out, and it goes down to head-to-head series, we already won it, and that's great. That's something that is against the argument that games in April do not matter. They do matter, apparently, and the fact that the Yankees came out swinging as they did and came back in every game, that's my favorite part about this whole thing, is that the fight, the resilience. Obviously, this team has a different type of energy and confidence behind them, and that is because they have the two best baseball players on the planet right now. Well, maybe not right this very second, because Aaron Judge had a little bit of a tough stretch in the series, but Juan Soto, as we saw in the spring, the dude is unbelievable baseball player. So this was a hell of a series to start out with.
Yeah, the cliche is you can't win a division in April, but you can lose a division. But that's also not true, because what year was it that Tampa started out some crazy run, like 11-0 or something like that?
Last year they came out.
Was
like
it last
super
year?
hot.
No, I thought it was 2 years ago when they won didn't Tampa win the division? No, the Yankees won the division 2 years ago. Okay, whatever it was.
Last year, I was talking with Kevin about this. Last year they came out absolutely hot.
They didn't win the division, but
because they got hurt. They were decimated by injury. The whole Wander Franco thing happened. But they came out absolutely unbelievably hot, and they had some stupid record into the month of April as well.
Right.
So,
don't you feel it's a little bit karma that the Astros can't win at home anymore for all the cheating stuff?
Every time the Astros lose, I feel like it's karma. Every time something bad happens to them, I think it's karma. So yeah, I guess so. I still have a disdain for this team over any team that walks the face of the planet, that steps foot on a baseball field against the Yankees. My 6-year-old son Kemp doesn't like the Astros. Like, he's going to grow up not liking the Astros because they're cheaters, and that's just the way it is. He's not going to have the disdain for the Red Sox the way that we did.
That's a little sad.
It's going to be the Houston Astros.
That's
it's
a little
fine.
sad.
No, you know what? They deserve it. They deserve it so badly. They deserve every second of it. So the fact that the Yankees walk in and sweep them in a 4-game set and come back in every one of these games, it makes my heart smile. It makes me think happy thoughts. It makes me think that all is right in the world when this type of stuff happens to the Houston Astros. So yeah.
It was really a reversal of fortunes between the two teams, because how many times have we seen the Astros just hang around in games and then come back late against the Yankees, or just heartbreak late against the Yankees, and it was the complete opposite. I mean, two different scenarios with the opening day and then Sunday afternoon, where it looked like the Astros were going to win those games. Juan Soto saves the game on opening day with his throw from right field, and Berti, who we didn't even have the last time we recorded this podcast, he wasn't even on the Yankees the last time, saves the game with a diving play down the third base line, because Clay Holmes had to give us all a heart attack on Easter Sunday and on opening day.
The crazy thing too is that when you look at how this whole thing started on day one, with Joe Girardi walking in and not being allowed into the facilities or into the media credentialed area because he didn't have the correct credentials.
Right.
Just whoever did that is a complete asshole.
Yeah,
just
kind of respect it though. A little bit
and,
of me respects it.
And Joe Girardi walking into this place, getting that treatment, and then the Yankees sweeping is absolutely just. This is exactly how it needed to happen. So, And by the way, I don't know how you feel about this, but I like hearing Joe in the booth.
I thought he was really good. But do you know what's crazy? He only managed one player. 2017 only had one player, Judge. He's the only one that played under Joe Girardi. You can count Tommy Kahnle because he came over mid-season that year, but Kahnle's obviously on the IL right now, so it's really only Judge is the holdover from 2017. Because in my mind, 2017 doesn't feel like a long time ago, but it a lot has changed.
When did LeMahieu get here?
19.
Crazy, yeah.
And Girardi was gone after 17, so it was only. And all the other young players that played under Girardi in that year, Severino's gone with the Mets, giving up 12 hits on his first start. Gary Sanchez is long gone at this point.
Is he in Milwaukee now? Yeah.
Greg Bird is he in the Mexican League or Korea at this point?
Killing it.
Hey, Gleyber Torres
in Mexico City.
Gleyber Torres
that would have been nice if he was on the Mexico City team.
Canoa's on that Mexico team.
I know. It would have been great if Bird was playing first base.
I did think Girardi was good. He's kind of low energy, but like more.
He does the voice inflection. He gets a real high on his voice. He does the.
I think he's a good balance to O'Neill.
Yeah, and they clearly have a rapport. They know each other well. So there's something there where he's an encyclopedia and he's got a very different perspective on the game than anybody in that booth. So I think he's good. I'm interested to him and Cone together could be really. I think
is
really
Cone
good.
I thought Cone's really not doing many games anymore.
I think he's doing some, but he's doing more national games, isn't he?
Yeah. No, I thought Girardi was good. He did say that he thought Verdugo has played a really good left field throughout the weekend, which I know Verdugo made the sliding catch to end Sunday's game, but Verdugo had a little bit of a rough time in left field. And left field at Houston, what's the Houston ballpark? It's not Minute Maid anymore, right? Like whatever the hell. I hate that ballpark, by the way. Just the configurations of that ballpark bother me. Like that left field area, and then like just the way that left field. I feel like I used to like it, but just now all the bad memories of the Yankees playing there, I just don't like it anymore. It seems like the right field, the ball shoots out. Left field, you got that Crawford box thing, like little pop flies, because we saw Altuve hit a pop fly. Soto hit a little line drive down the left field line that went out. But he said Verdugo had played well in left field, and
he made some nice plays. There was a ball that was in the left center field gap that he made look very easy with the route that he took in the first jump, catching that ball going towards the track, and then obviously that last play.
The last play was good.
That last play is not an easy play. That thing is a shooting down.
Yeah, it's a hard line.
Tucker.
You could mistime that slide and very easily.
Left field of whoever is playing left field last year, if Oswaldo Cabrera is out there in left field, that's a double. The game's over.
Well, left field was the single worst position of any
right.
team
So when
in
you
baseball
see
last year, left field for the Yankees.
When you see how Verdugo is going to be out there every day and solidifies that spot, like he's just going to get better too. And with Yankee Stadium, he's got familiarity, obviously. But he's Jon with the crowd, even in Houston a little bit. Yeah. I like it, man. There's a obviously Judge ID'd this in the way that he is. Like he liked the type of player that Verdugo is and how he wears his emotion on his sleeve. And, that's who this guy is. I think he will fit in nicely with this because it's embraced. I really do think that Judge, that's probably one of those conversations that never really made it out. But Judge talking to Steinbrenner, Judge talking to people is like, let's a little bit more emotion, a little bit more, flair with the type of people that are here, because you look at who was added, and even Soto. I mean, Soto has the quiet arrogance that the slide towards the pitcher is just like,
well,
the
did you see when he
possibly do?
He got fooled on that curveball yesterday, and he like nodded. He's like, "Okay, you got me. Yeah. Nice pitch." Yeah. Don't do it again, because I'm going to get you next time.
I love watching him in the at-bat. I know we're going to talk about him and his control, but when you see how the conversation goes almost with himself and like acknowledging the types of pitches, and even that one that two-seamer that didn't make it all the way in, but 99% of players are swinging at in the ninth inning the other day with that Hader through, like he's even shaking his head like, no, it didn't come back. Started inside, didn't come back.
Yeah, he's got an unbelievable.
You can see the justifications in his head.
unbelievable control of the strike zone, unbelievable eye, like not just control of the strike zone and knowing, being able to foul off pitches and going the other way with pitches and knowing which pitches he can turn on and drive. All that is included in control of the strike zone too.
Control
But
of the
just
at bat.
like you said, he's taking pitches like a millimeter off the plate and immediately being like, nope, that wasn't a strike ump. Like, trust me, that wasn't a strike ump. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and controlling the strike zone's one, the eye for identifying those pitches, but he could control the at bat to a level that we haven't really seen. I was saying before that like peak LeMahieu was kind of reminded me of someone who could control an at bat, and by that I mean no matter what the count is, like he's got a swing for that pitch too, and we saw it. We saw it when the Yankees took the lead, when he just slapped the ball. Glaber steals second base, gets on second base. He knows what he has to do. There's a mission now. The mission has changed. You don't need to hit a gap to score the guy on first. You just need to get a base hit. And he goes with a fastball high and away and plucks it to left field, which is just an absolutely beautiful piece of hitting. He controls the at bat in any scenario, and that so far 4 games, I get it, but like this is the first time we're able to watch him in games that are real under a microscope, and it's a joy to watch. It's a joy to watch him play baseball.
He's obviously a superstar, but he's not the Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton type superstar that's gonna like 50 home run type power, and he's just that kind of superstar. Like, he has the ability, like you said, and it's actually his strength is just to slap a ball to left field if he needs to.
And he's got the 50 home run power too.
Go the other way with pitches. Obviously, he hit a home run to left field, pulling line drives to right field. But like that moment in the 9th inning is so clutch, and being able to, against Hader, one of the nastiest, if not the nastiest relief pitchers left-handed in baseball, being able to just take that ball the other way is something the Yankees have not had, even in Judge. Like, obviously, we all love Judge, and this is nothing just to say about his struggles this weekend, but like that has never been Judge or the type of player the Yankees have had in this Aaron Judge era. It's been if you make a mistake, I'm going to hit the ball 490 feet to center field, sure, but like in those key moments where you just need put bat on ball, please put bat on ball, the Yankees have struggled with that, obviously, in the 2018 to now era. And having Soto second in the lineup, superstar, being able to just put bat on ball when you need to. And the Yankees, to their credit, did that all weekend. Like, Judge had a sac fly yesterday to I think it was Judge to have a sac fly yesterday to get a run in with less than 2 outs. Verdugo earlier in the weekend had a sac fly with less than 2 outs. Like, we saw it happen. Obviously, Oswaldo Cabrera had an unbelievable weekend. So they did all of those things, but that has not been a strength of this team the past 6 years. It's been a weakness of this team.
It has been a weakness, and that was why when LeMahieu did get here, we were and that's why I made that comparison, because peak LeMahieu is that guy. He could adjust to any situation that you need. If you need a ground ball to get a runner in, if you need a fly ball, if you need a base hit, like, he's got the ability to do that. And when he's right, and maybe younger, he was the guy that you wanted up in those situations, because the rest of the team
was the only one. It was 1 out of 9.
There was a high strikeout. There was a high percentage of strikeout potential that unfortunately just does nothing for your ball club. And that's why we've been stressing so much, man. Like, we need guys that can just put bat to ball. We need guys that can put the ball in play. In play is what you need for put some pressure on the defense. And
well, do you know what the crazy thing is, though, about opening day?
Volpe has the ability to do that too, and that's why I'm looking. And this weekend was, again, small sample size, but
didn't you only have 2 swings and misses or something?
Two swings and misses. Yeah, 2 swings and misses.
No, but to your point,
70 pitches seen, like that's where I want him. I don't care if he hits more than 20 home runs. I want him not missing the ball. I want him going gap to gap. I want him doing the small things right.
So yeah, and what clubhouse intern in Houston poisoned his post-game meal to give him diarrhea on Saturday night, so he's not in the game on Sunday. But opening day, like, the early innings of that were so frustrating, and opening day couldn't have started worse for the Yankees, where they have all of these base runners and they ground into 3 double plays. I think it was in the first 4 innings, and you're sitting there like, oh my God, here we go again. This team's getting traffic on the bases, and they're just grounding into 6-4-3 double plays like it's nobody's business. And you're like, here, same shit, different day with this team. Cortez was throwing a ton of pitches, laboring through. Yankees were falling behind, and there was a point at 5:30 on opening day, an hour and a half into the game, where you're like, well, I've seen this story before. And then it flipped. A switch
And then it
happened.
flipped.
What
And
happened?
Nestor,
Hold on. What was who got the hit to change the tone of that game? Juan Soto did. He's just a different beast. He's a different beast that this team has not had. He's the superstar that can just put bat on ball or take you 400 feet.
Yeah, he's exactly what they needed. And I know everybody's making the joke of like, whatever it takes. It doesn't matter, whatever it takes. You got to make the beers $97. You got to make the chicken buckets $499. What you got to give him all the money in the world and pass it on to the average fan. Like, great. Whatever you got to do, just put this guy in pinstripes for the rest of his career, so that we can feel good about any team. Because when you have him and you surround him with, the right pieces, we'll see. We saw he was able to do it early in his career, obviously with the Nationals. And yeah, man, he seems like the absolute perfect fit for what the Yankees needed.
He played, obviously he had the ankle issue because also Friday, the team surrounding him and Juan Soto is bent over. He's got something wrong with his foot or his lower leg. And we're all sitting there like, well, okay, this 2024 was fun. See you in 2025. But he stays in the game. And I thought for sure he was going to at least be DHing the next day, if not have the day off, because that's classic Yankees injury load management, right? Juan Soto's like, oh, no, you guys haven't heard? I play 162.
Yeah.
Oh, you go look at my baseball reference page. That number be bolded, son. 162.
Yeah. No, he's that guy. And you know what? That mentality is so important. It's so important just to be able to understand that if you get nicked up, if you do the thing, you're going to go back out there because you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. You're going to play. He plays the game. And I know that's been a popular narrative this first series around Boone, with Glaber going back in the next day, with them having
another one I was surprised about.
Today being Monday and them having to travel with no day off. Everybody was still in the lineup on that fourth day. I don't know how much of that goes back to, hey, they won the first three. They have the opportunity to now literally take the series against Houston, and we got to win this fourth game right now, right here. And if that was part of the consideration, I kind of hope it was, because
what do you think if this 4-game series was not in Houston, they were at the Royals, these 4 games? What do you think? Yeah. What do you think it's like?
It doesn't matter. I don't even need to speculate on that, because that's not the way it was. It was against Houston, and they did show the urgency to win these games, and I love that, and I do hope that there's a change in philosophy in that regard, and they go out and they press, because Juan Soto plays 162 games. That is something that needs to be bled through the clubhouse. They need to feel that when you have a guy who's, one of your 2 superstar players, and this guy's here for a short term, and he knows what his job is. He's got to win a championship this year. Everybody else is rallying around that. And guess what? If you're a little banged up, I don't want to hear you crying about it. I want you to go out there, and I want you to play. And that goes to management as well. Don't baby the guys. Let them play. And that kind of leads into Berti, man. I know we need to talk about the Berti thing because we haven't really talked about him.
We'll talk about the trade in a second. Yeah,
guys, he's the type of guy that's perfect for this team.
Are there player props on games played for a season?
I'm sure.
Is that something? Can you guys look up what Soto's is? If you had to take a over under, Scott, on 159.5 this year for him, which would be 2 days off. Is he getting more than 2 days off?
If I'm betting a decent amount of money on that, it's really hard for me to make a long-term bet that says he's only going to not play 2 games for the Yankees. No, I would probably bet the under that, but that's only because I
know player props are probably because of injuries and stuff, but he did play 162 last year, and I believe he's only had 1 or 2 off days every season, pretty much.
He doesn't have off days. That's who he is. No, but we'll see if the Yankees.
No, I know it's one weekend, obviously, and in theory, players should be as fresh as they're ever going to be coming out of spring training. And it was a 4-game series against Houston, which, even if it's the first weekend, does have implications and does have more. You have more juice because of that. And if it's August,
it's a tone setter too. It's just, if you lose opening day, you go down 4-0, and then you don't come back to that, and then you're walking into day 2 with Carlos Rodon, and all of a sudden something goes wrong, and he starts becoming a head case, and it can spiral, and you don't obviously want that. But if you have the opportunity to put the to put the pedal down against this team, it feels different. It feels different. There's no doubt.
I saw people being like, Astros are dead. The Astros as we knew them are done. It's like, all right, let's pump the brakes a little bit. This was sweet. Let's enjoy it. Probably going to see them again this year, and I'm still
They have a lot of
nervous.
really good players. They have a lot of really good players. It's a good team.
Getting tickets to early season games can be frustrating, and I have a feeling after how the Yankees started this weekend, their opening homestand is going to be a hot ticket. Tickets can be overpriced, but Game Time has you covered there with their lowest priced tickets guaranteed. Games can also be postponed due to bad weather. Game Time has you covered there as well with event cancellation protection and the most flexible customer service policy in the ticket industry. And new for this year, Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, meaning buying tickets to a baseball game on Game Time is now faster and easier. The Game Time app is amazing to use. You can find all the tickets that you want, and then once you find the seat that you want, it's yours in just a few taps. I like using the app because it shows you flash deals so you can see what sections the best deals are in. All-in pricing option allows you to make sure there's no hidden fees or surprise fees at checkout. And also the seat views, if you're going to a new park or you're sitting in a section that you haven't sat in before, you can see what it's like from their seat view within the app. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for sporting events, but you can also find tickets for concerts, comedy shows, theater, and much more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find a ticket in the same row for less money, Game Time will cover you with 110% of the difference. That's a pretty cool guarantee. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code BRONX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, create an account and use code BRONX, BRONX, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thank you, Game Time. Let's talk. You mentioned Rodon in he started second game.
Let's do Berti for. We gotta hit
first?
the Berti news, yeah, because he kind of sets the table for what the season is a little bit. I think
they acquired him on, was that Wednesday before opening day?
Before the game.
Yeah, it was a 3-team trade with the two Florida clubs. Yankees sent Rortvedt to the Rays and also John Cruz, which was their number 28 prospect in the system, to the Marlins. The Marlins got back Shane Sasaki. The Rays sent Shane Sasaki to the Marlins, and then the Yankees acquired Jon Berti, who's a 34-year-old, I guess, utility infielder, but he's got some interesting numbers in his career because he obviously has speed. He stole 41 bases, which led the National League in 2022. Last year with Miami, he had a 294, 344, 405 slash line. He provides good defense at short and third base, which we obviously saw last night in the ninth inning, saving the game, because if that ball gets by him, that's the game right there. Boone had a quote that's interesting where he said, "I think everybody can understand the situation a little bit. I told John today nobody wanted him here more than me. Like, I pushed everyone. We need to go get him. I know what he's going to mean to this team in the long haul, and I know that's the case. He's going to play a huge role for us this year. I want to get him there, and eventually we will." Why do you think Boone was so adamant to get Jon Berti?
Well, whether it's Jon Berti just fit the mold for they obviously had a list of guys. They asked Boone's opinion on who they're going after, because this is something that we fully expected. I was surprised that it hadn't happened yet, but when we talked on Wednesday morning, happened later that day, like, it was very clear that they were going to go out and get someone because of who the utility guys were in the moment and who they had. Oswaldo was starting third base, but was also the backup shortstop. Like, that, you can't walk into a season with that happening, especially a 4-game set with no days off. You just kind of can't do that. So when I saw Berti, looked him up, I didn't know a ton about him, but I'm looking at these stats. I'm looking at the player, profile. This is exactly the guy. This is exactly the guy that you need. He can play second base also. I think he played some outfield, some right field in his career a little bit too. He's a guy that can play all over the damn place. The fact that he's got speed as well, plays good defense across, as we saw the other day when he makes that diving stop at third to really save a game. Like, he's the exact type of player that you can feel good about going in a utility role. Doesn't need to play all the time. Veteran guy, 34 years old, has been there, done that in his career, and just brings that that exact type of role player that I love. That I love this type of player as the last guy on the bench. I wanted Tyler Wade to be this type of guy so badly, but this is that guy. This is that guy. He's got speed. He knows how to steal bases. He knows how to play defense. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's been in the situations. So I think Boone probably saw the makeup of the guy, the profile, and I'm sure they were familiar with him as a player. And he just fits what this team needs. He just fits it. He's a LeMahieu light.
He provides the versatility that this infield needs, because this infield outside of Volpe, and I guess outside of Glaber too, but the corners have injury concerns, and obviously we saw with DJ going down with what we thought was just a bad bone bruise, but then we find out that he has a fracture in his right foot, and he's going to have imaging done again 2 weeks from now. But this injury is likely a lot more serious than we thought when it happened in the middle of March. So
deep bone bruise, contusion, like a lot of them do have hairline fractures, and they go acknowledged as deep bone bruises. But so, maybe the word fracture wasn't brought out there. I don't know. They hadn't had Berti at that point. Maybe there was a little bit of a leverage, a little jockeying for leverage with what they were disclosing at the time before they went out and got a player that they absolutely needed. So who knows?
I talked about this with
it doesn't
Max.
really change a lot, though.
I talked about this with Max last week. You weren't on that section of the episode, but it's basically like, I think they were evaluating LeMahieu, and if they were confident he was going to be back when he was eligible to come off the IL, which is this coming Friday, I believe, then they probably wouldn't have been as aggressive to go out and get a Jon Berti type player. But if LeMahieu is going to be out for, call it a month, I don't know. Like, what are we talking about here? At least, right? Imaging again in 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean much. Like, if he's still obviously healing along that time, he's doing whatever he needs to do. They're just taking the images to make sure that fracture is healing the way it's supposed to, and that things are down. Swelling is apparently down. So again, like, I don't think it changes much in his diagnosis in the way that
back, though, from the foot injury. That's to be like, he at this point, and we might not see the real DJ LeMahieu, whatever that is, or call it second half 2023 DJ LeMahieu, which we were all hoping would continue into 2024. That might not happen this year now because of this issue.
Look, the way that the roster was assembled, the fact that they didn't have a more versatile person on the roster, and then LeMahieu goes down with this, whether it's a bone bruise or whatever, he was on the IL, he's had foot issues in the past. It would have been irresponsible for them to not go out and make an addition. And the fact that this guy was available, that really, again, like I had the guys pull the numbers here. You look at what he's done compared to LeMahieu over the last 3 years. And I understand that Berti had a really good 22, and his numbers are a little different outside that. But LeMahieu also, the last few years, has not been the same guy. Their numbers aren't all that drastically different. He doesn't have the same power. He's got more speed. He gets on base, relatively. Berti's got a 329 OBP. LeMahieu's at a 345, like 359 slugging, 375 slugging. You're looking at a similar type of player that gives you the versatility across the infield that has been there as a utility guy before. Like, this is exactly the fact that they got the guy that could replace LeMahieu in an extended period of time, because that's what you need, right? You don't just need the backup. You need a guy who you believe that can go out there and play every day also, and not give up.
Is that Oswaldo though at this point? Because
it's 4 games. Obviously, you ride the hand, but
that's what they should be doing though at third base. Is you should be riding the hot hand with the knowledge that both Cabrera and Berti can back up the other infield spots when needed. So you ride the hot hand at third base. I think that's what they should be doing. And Oswaldo Cabrera had an unbelievable weekend. Clutch hits, home runs, and he had a good finish to last season after he got called back up from the minor leagues. He talked about, like we saw Meredith reporting this weekend, like he got in his head last year. He got off to a slow start. He won the left field job, then lost the left field job. So, like, it was a terrible season for Oswaldo Cabrera. Is he going to be Juan Soto Jr. like everyone, like we saw this weekend? Obviously not. But you just play the hot hand at third base. And who knows when LeMahieu is going to be back this year. But you're right. Look at the numbers the last 3 years. So 2021 through 2023, DJ LeMahieu in that span has a 101 OPS plus, league average. Jon Berti has a 90 OPS plus, so 10% worse than league average. But we were hoping DJ LeMahieu was going to be a 110, 112 OPS plus guy this year at third base. And we might just not be able to see that anymore with him, unfortunately. at his age, with his injury problems over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
It might not be realistic to see again.
Well, and it also gives them the luxury of just taking their sweet ass time, making sure that he's right before he comes back. And part of the quote that quote was part of a longer interview with Boone about this, but them talking about he's not coming back until he's 100%, which they absolutely want. That's exactly what they should do. It's exactly what they should do. And now they have, they're afforded the luxury of doing that by acquiring a guy like Berti, who you can feel confident. Boone can feel confident putting him in the lineup every single day if he needs to. He's that type of guy. He's that type of veteran guy who has been there, done that, and can thrive in a lineup like this. So I'm excited. I was probably overly excited because I wasn't thinking of Berti as an option. I was looking across the league and at some other guys that had similar flexibility. But this guy, with the speed that he has and the stolen base acumen, it's not just speed. He knows how to steal bases too, which is a big deal. He knows how to run the bags.
Let's be honest. We had never heard of Jon Berti. He's playing.
I've heard of him, but he's just 30. He wasn't on the radar.
Playing for the Marlins. It's like, sorry, I didn't know much about. Never heard of Jon Berti.
He got flagged to me when he stole all those bases in 22. Like that's when I'm like, who is this guy? How is he stealing bases? What's going on here? But then did I think about him after I saw that number? No, I did not. And but when you look at him again, it's exactly what they wanted. Yesterday the defense, that diving play against towards the line away from the bag and with the intuitive nature to go run, tag the bag, and then hold the ball. If you have Cabrera over there and he makes that play, I bet he throws that ball and it probably goes into right field.
Does he even make that play?
Whether he makes that play or not, he's probably throwing the ball, which could end up in disaster. So the fact that you hold the ball and put it in your pocket is a veteran play. It's a guy that understands to minimize risk.
Yeah, we saw Oswaldo make a low throw over to first. Rizzo probably could have scooped that. Like I'd say, I think Cabrera was charged with the error. I think this was on Saturday's game. Rizzo probably says he should scoop that. And then we saw a throwing error by Volpe.
And then Stroman had
a double play where he's trying to hit Stroman. That's a tough play, obviously, but Volpe just made a terrible throw on that play. And also yesterday, I know Gleyber had the nice base running in the ninth inning, but he also had not heads up base running, not running out of the box on a ball that could have been fair. And then he also later in the game flipped the ball to second base because he thought there was one out.
It's okay. He stole a base in the ninth inning to put himself in scoring position, and then Juan Soto did the rest.
That was the Gleyber. It was the full Gleyber Torres experience.
Well,
awesome play and also head scratching play.
And in the clutch, what did he do? He made the right play, and he took advantage of a guy that wasn't even looking over.
What are your thoughts on him leading off without LeMahieu there?
I think it's fine. I think at one point I had him there. He makes because
he didn't have a great week. Him and Judge were like the two actually negatives in the lineup this weekend. Funny enough, because that was the Yankees' two best hitters last year. Gleyber had a rough weekend. He also got hit in the hand, so I don't know how much of that was a factor later in the weekend. And then Judge to me just looked off. Like you could just tell when Judge is locked in and when Judge is a little bit off trying to find something. Yeah. It was the at bat against Javier. So I know Judge's career numbers against Javier are awful, and Javier is a fantastic pitcher. But it was he took a fastball on a 1-1 count, like center cut fastball, just took it. And that's not a pitch you see. You at least see Judge engaging on that pitch. And he just took it like he didn't expect the pitch to be thrown, never mind a fastball to be thrown. And to me, that's just like, all right, Judge is just not, he doesn't have
seeing the ball like he normally does. And that's fine. That's why the beautiful thing about that is that, like in years past, if Judge is not doing anything, like the lineup doesn't do anything.
Exactly.
But now that's not protect him. Now that's not the case here with what we've seen. And you look at Connor Foley had a tweet the other day after Saturday's game. So these numbers are up through Saturday, but the amount of pitches that we're seeing, like that to me is part of what that narrative was. Like the guys need to work the count a little bit more, get deeper into these at bats. And you asked me who, if Gleyber is, makes sense up there. I mean, he did. He saw
4.4 pitches. Well, up and through Saturday, 4.4 pitches per at bat. Volpe saw the most pitches of the weekend at 5 per plate.
5 per at bat, which is significantly low, significantly higher than average. League average is 388 this year and 3.91 last year.
Oswaldo 4.5, Judge 4.1, Verdugo 4.4, Juan Soto 3.6, Austin Wells 4.9. So yeah, they're making they made the Astros throw a lot of pitch, especially in the first two games. They had so many base runners in the first two games. The pitching overall, ironically enough, was much better from both sides. Between Stroman, who had the best start of the weekend, and Clark Schmidt through 5 innings yesterday, the pitching was much better from both sides on Saturday and Sunday versus Thursday and Friday. But what was I going to say?
But yeah, you asked me like one of my bold predictions.
Glaber at leadoff.
About leadoff is Volpe. If Volpe makes this adjustment in his game and gets to that next level of him being able to put bat to ball, control the strike zone more, then I think he's going to be the leadoff guy.
And I like Glaber in a more run producing role, just because I feel like that's more of a strength of his. Even though he did see 4.4 pitches per plate appearance, it's like he's better at driving in runs than he is just getting on base, frankly. And so from a perspective of him hitting fourth, fifth, or sixth, like I would rather see that. But I understand why they're not putting Volpe there to start. And if
100%,
if 3-4 weeks from now Volpe's still looking consistent at the plate, then sure, move him up at that point. But yeah, I guess Glaber for the time being is fine, and then maybe we'll see Verdugo there.
I was going to say, don't be surprised when Verdugo's in there against righties.
Yeah.
So they're going back, but yeah, I think Volpe long term, I feel like they want him to take that job.
Yeah.
If he's
got to prove
long
it
term,
though. He's got to prove it first.
100%. 100%. He's got to make some adjustments. So, and seemingly he has.
So I work from home, Scott. So it's tempting to wear sweatpants every day, but then you don't really feel like an adult with a job if you're just in sweats all day. That's why I need a comfortable pair of jeans to wear around the house all day, every day. And by far the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn are Duer. D-U-E-R is how you spell Duer. Duer makes stretch performance denim and lifestyle apparel for men and women. Their timeless styles are unlike traditional denim because they are made from natural fibers for high stretch, breathability, and moisture absorption. It's the perfect mix of comfort, style, and stretch. They sent me a pair of their performance denim Heritage Rinse, which is a dark color, nice classy looking jean, and I've already worn them about a dozen times. They also fit great. I've got like long, skinny chicken legs, and so sometimes it can be hard to find jeans that don't look overly baggy on me, but the Duer Slim Cut fits me perfectly while still being comfortable. And a very important question for you, Scott, because I know this was used to be like a internet question circa 2011. How often do you wash your jeans?
Ooh, I get a good 3 to 4 wears out of them until I start smelling them.
Okay,
3 to 4. If I can pick up my jeans with the old nose, then I'll throw them in the wash, or stains.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you're doing while you're wearing the jeans. Because like I said, I'm in the house a lot all day. So yeah. I can get like 7 or 8 wears out of my jeans before I wash them. But I'm not really doing much.
That's a lot.
But if you're not leaving the house, like really,
sure, that's a lot.
If I'm leaving the house, maybe still 7 or 8.
That's a lot.
Upgrade your wardrobe with a pair of Duer jeans today. Use our link for 20% off shopduer.com/Bronx. That's spelled Guer. Duer. You can also check out their flagship stores in LA and Denver. Again, shopduer.com/Bronx for $20 off. Don't miss this amazing deal. We do have one more ad read, everybody, so buckle up. Carlos Rodon. I just don't like him. Sorry. I just fucking hate the guy. And he's like, everyone was like, oh, Carlos Rodon stuff. You too. I saw you tweet out, because we were both tweeting from the Bronx Pinstripes account this weekend.
It wasn't just me. I didn't put anything about Rodon in there.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. So Logan tweeted, Carlos Rodon's stuff looks sharp or whatever. And I disagree.
Yeah, he walked 3 guys too.
Velocity does not mean your stuff is sharp. Okay.
Agreed.
He's just up there chucking the ball. Can he throw hard? Yeah, he can throw hard. But he has no freaking idea where it's going. He has no command. He can't throw quality strikes. The ball is either center dick or freaking wild. It's not enjoyable to watch him pitch.
What is with these new uniforms? Definitely show the sweat glands a hell of a lot more, right?
He's a sweaty boy.
All of them, yeah. But I mean,
I think it was indoors. They probably cranking the heat in that.
Yeah, but the old uniforms, you didn't see it. You didn't see it like this. Like they look like they look like they're sweating out there like crazy. You can absolutely visibly see it in the uniform. Rodon, there's something about him that pisses me off too. I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's like I need him. For me to tolerate him, I need him to be absolutely dominant. And if he's dominant and he's absolutely shoving and he's got the vocal, the wear it on your sleeve type thing, because it's really like he's borderline. He's arrogant. He's definitely arrogant and cocky and like screams at people in like a I'm better than you way every single time, no matter what. So if you're going to be that guy, you really do have to be a
get through the fifth
pitcher.
inning. Get through the fifth inning.
You can't have 4.1 on your line on your box score afterwards. You got it, and you want to jaw in the dugout and have the camera seeing you and Boone have a heated conversation. You just got to do better. You can't walk 3 guys in those 4 innings. You got to be this dominant dude to have that type of attitude. So look, I'm being patient here. Book is out still for me, but yes, obviously. I understand what you're saying. I mean, just on him as a person, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he does annoy me in the way that his mannerisms.
You're gonna defend Rodon?
I wasn't going to defend him. I was going to say something about how the jerseys everywhere, everybody was sweating in them. But I will say,
it's the jersey themselves. Yes.
Yeah, it's the jersey themselves. It's not like anything about where they were playing or anything. But
no,
I will
say
that I don't know if you guys heard him after the game, and his post-game answers were not what we would have heard last year. I don't think he was very like. At one point,
he was like happy and like he was like almost smiling when he was talking.
Yeah, and his like one question they asked him, like, were you mad you didn't get through the 5th inning? And he was like, look, like, is there improvements to be made? Yes, obviously, but like we won, so I'm happy. It's like,
okay, great.
It's the right answer.
You're making $28 million a year. Get through the 5th inning.
No, 100%, 100%. He needs to be better.
And so, what do you guys think? Should Verdugo have caught that ball in the gap? Because I think he should have. He got to the ball. Obviously, it would have been a good play.
Yeah,
but it's not like a 0 probability catch. Like he's there. He's sliding. He's not diving. He's sliding.
It hit the top of his glove.
You got to. And if he catches that ball, no run score in. I forget if that was the first or the second. That was the first inning. No run score in the first inning if he catches that ball, and maybe it's a different story on Rodon. But like, he's up there and he's just chucking it. He's just rearing back and throwing as hard as he can. And sometimes it looks really good because it's 98 and the guy can't touch it.
It moves. When he's right, it moves. There's no doubt about it. He's got that movement. Obviously, that's how he can survive as a 2-pitch guy, because he only threw the changeup one time in the 4 1/3.
55% fastballs, 26% sliders, 17% cutters. So
yeah, and that works out to 48 total fastballs, 23 sliders, 15 cutters.
Yeah, but the cutter was not something. The cutter is new, so the cutter is a new look on his fastball. Like so, previously in San Francisco, he was four-seam fastball slider. That's it, and he was dominant pitcher in San Francisco. And I'm sure, like if we talk to Giants fans, I'll talk about he just got up there and chucked the ball, and he got a lot of swings and misses. But when you're going against the Astros, despite the fact that the Yankees just swept the Astros are they're a good offensive team. Yes. Over the past 5, 6, 7 years, they strike out one of the least in baseball. They're going to take pitches. They're going to get on base. They're going to walk. They're going to put bat on ball. And if you're up there just chucking it, that's not going to survive against the Astros.
I got one. I just read something, and I got a gripe I need to get off my chest, too, about this Friday game. And it has nothing to do with the Yankees or the Astros. It has everything to do with Major League Baseball. The fact that I had to buy a $9.99 subscription because I had gotten rid of Apple in the past.
Since last year.
I had it for other things, so like some shows, but I had to buy it. The fact that I don't get it as an MLB.TV subscriber is bullshit. That is bullshit. We're already paying. Everybody who has that is paying a premium. The fact that you have to go and buy another, it shouldn't matter, because if it's on,
but they treat it the same way like a ESPN.
Yes, they're treating it like a primary
exactly broadcast.
And it is absolute bullshit. But I don't have to, and I understand you have to pay for those, but you actually don't.
Well,
you can still get it if you wanted to.
But it's not, though.
You could put some coax on your, and you could get some bunny ears, and you could get it if you wanted to.
You could just listen to John and Susan, which you could also do on Apple. I changed the broadcast. Shout out to Logan for the tip. You could just change the broadcast to John and Susan.
Is it synced?
Yes, synced. It was great. I actually really enjoyed it, because I did not like those jabronis calling the game on Apple. And you know what else I can't stand about Apple? The probability's changing with every pitch. It's like it's too much information.
I figured you'd love that.
It's too much freaking information. Oh, you're telling me Giancarlo Stanton has a 70% chance to ground into a double play?
What
here?
if they gave you?
I could have told you that one.
What if they gave you the Yankees playoff percentage chance every at bat? Would you enjoy that? Would that be something you'd enjoy? Because I feel like you would.
Carlos,
I feel like
how many
right now he just struck out percentage went down half of a chance.
Just a tally on how many times Carlos Rodon actually hit where Trevino was setting up. Just zero, just not moving, 0%.
Yeah. But the fact that you have to pay for another subscription on top of it is complete bullshit. They need to figure that out because that's not right to everybody who's paying, the big price for the MLB package.
Yeah, no, that is frustrating. And MLB is 130, $140 a year.
It's more than that.
No, I think it's 139.
I don't know. It's been on auto. It's been on auto renew for like 10 years. So I don't.
Mine's been on auto renew since 2007. I've had it since 2007, which was in college, and it was like watching the game on a potato back in dorm room Wi-Fi in 2007. Yeah. It would take 7 hours to watch a 3-hour baseball game because of the buffering. It was. I
remember that was back in the day when we would really live tweet games, and I would be like 6 minutes off.
It's like we've seen nine at bats since then, dude. A couple more things from the weekend. So Marcus Stroman, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs. He was the best starting pitcher of the weekend for the Yankees by far, in command the entire time. So that and this was the 3rd game in a row that they came back. Soto with the home run late, Cabrera with the home run to tie it. Grisham gets picked off with Soto at the plate. Trent Grisham, just a word to the wise, when Juan Soto is up, do not make an out on the base path. Okay? Don't do it. That's a no-no.
That's a no-no. You can't do that. Not a good thing. Thankfully, it didn't hurt, but they were able to overcome it. Yeah, man. Then, like when Juan Soto's up, you just, although Gleyber Torres, I want to know, I would love to be a fly on the wall to see your face when you saw that Gleyber was stealing in that moment, to get.
I didn't even have a chance to really
if I had an ideal
upset
situation, it would be you and your dad in the same room while that was happening, while Juan Soto's up in the 9th inning, to see your faces as it's happening.
Well, obviously Gleyber Torres bothers me, and it's because of things like I already talked about. He hits a pop-up and he doesn't run. He fields a ball at second base and he flips it to Oswaldo as if it's going for a double play, and Oswaldo's like, bro, there's 2 outs. What are you doing? Just throw it to first base. Gleyber is lucky Oswaldo was covering the bag in that scenario. Like Girardi talked about this, and I feel like Girardi is the type of guy, he's on the same wavelength as me.
Girardi gets bothered by little things like that, no doubt.
You should get bothered by little things. And that's why under Joe Girardi, the Yankees didn't make as many of those types of mistakes, because the manager got bothered by it. Okay? Boone isn't going to get bothered by it. Oh, we still got the out. Nice job, Gleyber. Fist bump. Slap on the ass. Attaboy. Anyway, Clark Schmidt. Listen, I'm not going to second guess leaving Clark Schmidt in the game to come out. He had 74 pitches, I think it was, going into the 6th inning. And you're already playing with house money at that point. You've won the first 3 games, so I'm not second guessing.
And the bullpen had been used.
Yes,
so you gotta.
The plan was
push it a bit.
Get Schmidt through this inning, even though Altuve's coming up top of the order, 3rd time through. I understand pushing him through. You're winning at that point, and the plan would have been Loaiziga for 2 innings and then carry it from there. But no one should be surprised that Clark Schmidt started to struggle in that inning, facing the lineup for the 3rd time, because last year, over a 900 OPS allowed 3rd time through the order. So I'm not second guessing the move because of everything I just said. But let's also understand we're talking about Clark Schmidt, who could not pitch a 3rd time to a lineup. Now you're facing the Astros for a 3rd time. Yeah, that's not going to work for Clark Schmidt. He's not going to be that type of pitcher.
Well, again,
I know he has to prove it.
Agree to disagree in the sense that you gotta. I like the fact that this is a new season. This is a new Clark Schmidt. He's got some new pitches. He was dealing. His command was there. Didn't walk a guy. Struck out 5. Mm-hmm. Except for that 1-2 pitch to Altuve. That 1-2 pitch to Altuve was a breaking ball over the heart of the plate. It was a bad pitch, and Altuve made him pay for it. Obviously, he put it over the left field wall, and he missed his location on that spot. That's when you're looking at Clark Schmidt in those moments. That's where I need him to be able to execute and bury that ball and hit his spot.
But
he listen, hold on.
He's
real
a number 5 pitcher, and that's what you get from another number 5 pitcher.
He's a number 4 pitcher, and he is technically and
by default
right now, and you need him to take that next step. The Yankees need him to take that next step.
I know they do, but
seemingly
it's not going to happen against the
ready.
Astros. It's not going to happen against the Astros.
Okay, but I got no problem with him.
I said that too.
In this series. Yeah.
I said it too.
And you know what? I was really I watching Clark Schmidt pitch and get through the outing that he did. Obviously, the final line with that with the last runs that he gave up, not ideal, but he pitched really well, and I was good to see. It was good to see him pitch the way he did and control the strike zone the way he did, not walk anybody. So it was good.
Next time whenever he's pitching in the future, if he's going against a weaker team and he's going into the 6th inning, yes, you push him. And again, I know yesterday it's the first weekend of the season. You don't have off days. You're about to go to Arizona. So you're trying to get length out of your starting pitching. So you're playing for the long haul there. And I completely understand it. Honestly, if I was in the dugout managing, I would have done the same thing. But I also would have done it knowing it's not going to work out because it's the Astros' 3rd time through the order and Clark Schmidt's not good enough to get through that. Clay Holmes. How worried are you for Clay Holmes? Because very easily could have been a series split if Juan Soto doesn't nail the guy at home plate and Jon Berti doesn't make a diving play down the 3rd base line.
Yeah, I mean, he gives up a lot of ground balls. Obviously, that's what he does. But they were hard hit. They were hard hit balls. The one to Berti actually wasn't as hard hit, but it was just placed beautifully. Maybe could have used another foot to over the bag, but yeah, I'm not concerned at this point. Like you want the ground balls. It's a matter of not being able to barrel them up because any of those ground balls, if they're, a couple feet to the right or the left, they're double plays or they're outs. And you're not looking at that as anything. So that's the thing with him. He's a ground ball guy. He can get the strikeout, but he's a ground ball guy. That two-seamer sinker, whatever you want to call it, just wasn't getting the same action that we had seen in the past. And frankly, from when he was like unhittable, it hasn't gotten back to that point since that day. Like that sinker just hasn't had the same exact
was
movement.
That first half 22? We haven't seen it since then.
No, not like that, but it's still a very good pitch. He could still get a lot of outs, and the fact that he can get those ground balls is a very good thing.
I'll tell you what my problem is with Clay Holmes. But first, whether you're a world-class athlete or a podcaster like us, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. The Yankees have had a number of injuries. DJ LeMahieu might be out for longer. So, it's the Yankees know what is going on here with getting proper recovery. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of the Bronx Pinstripe Show. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. If you haven't heard of EE System yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you are here in the New York City area or hundreds of other locations around the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. If you're interested in experiencing the EE System technology for yourself, go to unifiedhealing.com/Bronx to learn more and find a center near you. That's unified, UNIFYD, healing.com/Bronx. No material or testimonial on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regime, including EE System. Clay Holmes is basically just the relief version of Carlos Rodon. That's my problem with him. He's just up there chucking it.
I don't agree with that. He's also got a way different demeanor, which
makes me style of pitcher. Like if Carlos Rodon was a closer, we were to be experiencing the same thing that we're experiencing with Clay Holmes. Where
actually he would fit like the whole thing.
You can be a 2-pitch pitcher.
The whole thing with Rodon would fit if you were a closer a lot
it's like
more.
It's like Ricky Vaughn coming out in Major League.
Yeah,
but
the brand would fit better.
Clay Holmes, he's falling behind hitters. He's walking guys. He's putting guys on base. Yes, he's a ground ball pitcher, which in theory should beat you less often because ground balls are you got to hit a lot of ground balls through the infield in order to get beat. And we saw that. That's exactly why he did not give up any runs this weekend, is because he is a ground ball pitcher. Otherwise, if guys are hitting missiles to the outfield, it's a different story. but he's a bit concerning for me. It's a bit of a heart attack closer scenario with him.
Yeah, it's I'll take the ground balls hitting the spots over walking guys. He starts walking a lot of guys. That's when you lose me as a closer. I can take the balls finding the the grass through the infield because that's just a little unlucky at the same time. So
yeah. Well, all in all, fantastic weekend. I don't think anyone had a 4-game sweep in Houston on their bingo card for opening. Like going into this road trip to start the season against the Astros and then Diamondbacks NL champs last year, you're like, hopefully they can get out of there a game above 500, right? Like we all would have signed up for a split in Houston, and then let's see what happens in Houston. I mean, in Arizona.
In Arizona, no, on the road, it's pretty much as tough as you can start, honestly. But for the Yankees, so the fact that they came out with a 4-game sweep is just the best case scenario.
And talk about two ballparks that just give nightmare fuel to Yankees fans is the Astros park right. and then the Diamondbacks park.
Yeah. If you're old enough for the Diamondbacks park, yes, 100%. But the and to the credit, like the one area that I was like, I gotta watch. I don't know around this team was the bullpen. Perfect. Like they were very good. Obviously, they did give up a bunch of hits, so there was some.
And they also inherited. I mean, Loaizaga inherited the 2 runners from Schmidt, which scored.
But
the bullpen was not charged with runs, but
correct. When you look at the stats, they fit the bill. They have not. I don't think they've given up an earned.
This is one area of the bullpen where I think the stats are a little misleading, considering they very closely blew 2 of the games. Okay, Clay Holmes could have very easily blown these 2 games.
No, you're absolutely right. And they're giving up too many hits because that's gonna come back and get you. It's gonna come back and get you at some point. But first game, 4 games with the starters not going deep. This is they did the job, and there's a bunch of guys out there that we're becoming familiar with, and I hope the familiarity brings confidence and we like them. I hope that's the case. So Yankees are still lining up more arms though. They also got that dude from the White Sox that is and they also made a deal for a guy that's coming back off of Tommy John with the Pirates for the second half. So they're still loading up on arms just in case. And I could feel that just in case.
Yeah, it was Jake Cousins for cash considerations from the White Sox.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. So the plan during the season is we will record after every series. That might change subject to scheduling, but for the most part, we will record after every series, which means it's a Monday through Wednesday series for the Diamondbacks. So you will get our next episode on Thursday. We'll talk to you then.